and we'll settle in. Great. Okay, so finding a comfortable way to sit or lie on your mat, something that's easy and peaceful for you. So maybe you have to move things around today. Okay. So coming to your mat and to your practice, using this time to focus on the breath. To become aware of the breathing in and the breathing out. To start the practice of bringing the body, the mind, and the spirit into alignment, into balance, that is yoga. And just by rolling out our mat and settling into the foundation of the earth beneath us, we start to practice. Gently allowing the focus to be on the breath. Letting go of gripping and tension in the body, allowing the thoughts to start to settle. And as I was listening to this poet and speaker this morning, David Whyte, he said so many things that were sticking to me, but in the end of his talk, he said, "Who am I practicing at becoming?" Who am I practicing at becoming? So we know about the physical practice of yoga. We're trying to become a flexible, strong, compassionate body. And we use that to become a flexible, strong, gentle, compassionate mind and spirit. And I stayed in the physical practice for a really long time. I just felt really good about being a strong body. I wanted to be that strong. And sometimes we need to feel strong in the physical sense so that we can move deeper in the spiritual sense, right? We need to feel the earth beneath us and know that it's there, that foundation, to take the next step. So here we are in the later half of our lives, ready to take the next step because we have the space, we have the time, and we're choosing to look a little deeper, to go past the physical, to look into the feeling body, mental, emotional body. It takes a little bit of courage, but we feel the firm ground beneath us, and we know there's a vast sky above us. And we take a step. And another image David Whyte offered was falling on that path. Sometimes we stumble, and someone asking the Buddha, like, do you have any suggestions for me on how to take those steps and make the path a little smoother? And he said, fall in the direction you want to walk. So even though we stumble, we fall, we know the path we want to be on. We're pretty secure in that. But our humanness gets in the way. And sometimes we fall and we learn to dust ourselves off and start over again, secure in who we are right now and where we want to go. And so we practice. Each breath a new beginning. Who do we want to become? What are we working towards? Because it does take work to stay in that awareness, to be mindful, to move forward with intention, on purpose, without judgment, being kind to ourselves, nurturing that loving heart. So, what is your intention for today? Setting that intention, shortening that to a word or a phrase, and placing it in an I am statement, repeating it softly to yourself a few times as if it were true and already happening. Gently allowing the focus to return to watching the breath. As you guide the breath in through the tip of the nose, follow the breath until the exhale leaves out through the nose. Inhaling and exhaling, one breath following the next with just a gentle pause between the breaths. Noticing the breath as it echoes throughout the body, finding your rhythm. Softening with the exhales, allowing the breath to move deeper with the inhales. Maybe noticing, are your inhales the same length as your exhales? And then evening the breath out, making them the same if they're not. Without judgment or expectation, just taking a look. Becoming aware of even the subtle breath in the body. Just noticing the response of the body as we draw the focus to the breath. And Ralph Gates suggests, is there a wisdom in focusing on the breath? Knowing that the breath is there to guide you throughout your practice and into your everyday life. It's always there, part of your foundation, the firm earth beneath you, the vast sky above you, and the breath that lies between the two. And we can pause in the stillness, find the breath, and take a step a little clearer about the path in front of us. Throughout your practice, the physical practice of yoga, you take a look at how we're being in the pose by drawing attention, awareness to the breath and how it feels in the body. letting go of any gripping and tension, finding the ease in the pose, welcoming the thoughts, honoring them, and then allowing them to settle, to draw in a little bit of peace. So linking simple movement with breath. With your inhale, maybe the arms extend out to the side, alongside the ears, wherever feels good for you. And we feel an opening through the body, a lengthening, a space. Softening with the exhales, the expanding of the lungs with the inhales, creating space for the breath. And with your exhale, lowering the arms to either side of the hips, or maybe bending the elbows and bringing them to the center of the chest. And moving with your breath, letting the breath guide you in this simple movement of inhaling, expanding, opening up the heart space, and exhaling, softening. Releasing the jaw, the shoulders. Where else are you holding or gripping? The back body, the hips, jaw. Moving with the breath, inhaling and exhaling. Aware of what happens between the breaths. Using the complete breath to move. Moving throughout the breath. And challenging yourself maybe to become aware of this linking of breath and movement throughout the practice. Slow down and move with intention. With your next exhale, allow the hands to float to either side of the hips. Inhale there and exhale, drawing the knees in for a hug. If you're sitting, maybe you want to lie back. Join us on the mat, so that you can give those knees a hug and rock from side to side, releasing into the support of the earth and noticing what you feel in the back body. Can you use the breath and the movement to soften, to let go? And then finding stillness there, allowing the feet to float to the earth with bent knees. Tucking the shoulders maybe a little closer to the center of the back and sliding them away from the ears. Lots of space in the neck. Rooting the shoulder blades to the earth so that they're active but not efforting. So the breath stays smooth. Aware of the sacrum connected, rooted to the earth, of the soles of the feet. Aware of the breath. And with your exhale, gently hugging the belly button to the earth. And with your inhale, rocking it towards the thighs. Exhaling, pelvic tilts, opening up through the lower back, and then opening up through the front body. Your breath, your rhythm. And then finding stillness there. Exhaling, recommitting to that foundation, setting yourself up. And then inhaling, lifting the sacrum straight up, and exhaling, lowering it down. Maybe it's only floating up an inch or two. Maybe a little higher as you roll up one vertebra at a time, coming to rest on the shoulders and the soles of the feet. Finding the breath to guide you and meeting your body wherever it is today. Not forcing anything, just being curious about its flexibility. Aware of any gripping or tension and honoring that. Using the breath to soften, sometimes moving deeper, sometimes backing out of something. And with your next inhale, as you come into your expression of bridge today, maybe finding stillness here, aware of the soles of the feet that root you, the shoulder blades connecting you to the earth. Maybe inhaling, the heart lifts a little towards the chin without moving the head, without efforting in the back of the neck. And moving the breath into this space that you've created, holding space for the breath in the front body. And with your next exhale, as the belly gathers, you slowly lower back down to the earth if you're not already there. Walking the feet the width of the mat and letting the knees fall together naturally, resting against each other. Allowing the lower back to soften into that support beneath you to open. And then finding the breath. As you breathe into the back of the heart. Aware of the body opening into the earth beneath you, pressing, reaching, rooting with the inhale, and with the exhale, gently moving away. Inhaling, breathing into the wings of the heart, and exhaling. And with your next inhale, allow the knees to float over the ankles, keeping the feet the distance, the width of the mat. With your exhale, both knees float over to the left. With your inhale, they float over to the right. So feet on the floor, finding your windshield wiper with feet wide so that you have space for the legs to rotate in the hip sockets, to allow gravity to open the body naturally, not forcing anything, just allowing. Maybe noticing that one side's different than the other. And then finding stillness with your next inhale up to center and extending the legs straight out in front of you on the earth. And walking both legs over to the right, keeping the hips and shoulders on the floor. So you're lying on your back, the legs are straight, and they just walk over as if you were standing in a crescent shape. Maybe inhaling the right, which way? We walked over to the right. So we're inhaling the left arm alongside your ear, or thereabouts, maybe the elbow bends, so that you can breathe into the left side body in this gentle crescent shape. Breathing in, breathing out. The ribs and the left side expand, giving space for the breath. And with your next inhale, the legs walk back to center. That left arm floats down. And we inhale the right arm alongside the ear, and we walk the legs over to the left. Lying on the earth with the breath moving into the space we've created. Peaceful breath, one breath following the next. Aware of the thoughts, honoring them, just letting them go for now, focusing on the breath. And then with your next inhale, floating back to center, a neutral spine, that arm floats down to the earth. Inhale there, exhale, both knees up over the hips, placing the palms of the hands on the knees with the fingertips towards the ceiling. Shoulder blades root to the earth, sliding together in the center and away from the ears. Belly hugs in to secure the sacrum, the other rooting. There's a natural curve to the lower back, and the lower front ribs hug to the earth. Take what you need, let go of the rest. What are you aware of? Is the breath compromised as you work the core body? Can you find ease in this pose so the breath still moves freely? With your inhale, the knees back away from you, straight arms without locking the elbows. They float away from each other out to the side. They hug into the belly and they move away. Straight arms, moving the legs in circles, keeping the feet flexed. No effort. The core body keeps you rooted to the earth. The breath is smooth, no tension in the jaw. Nice. What are you aware of? What is your intention for your practice? Can you use that breath to keep that intention and finding stillness and allowing the feet to float to the earth and rolling over onto one side or the other using your arm as a pillow. Breath in, breath out. Front and back of the heart space fill with breath, restoring us, bringing new life. Prana filling us. The breath that's always there to guide us. What do you notice in the stillness? What do you become aware of? What will you take and what will you let go? Letting go of what doesn't suit us. Because we're always changing. Rolling over onto hands and knees. And taking the time to pad your knees if that helps you to find more ease in tabletop. To make the pose accessible for your body. And then setting up the foundation so that you have the firm earth beneath you. Aware of the breath, allowing you to have a long spine. From the crown of the head to the tip of the tailbone. Aware of what muscles you need to engage to support you securely without adding effort. Finding an easeful breath, guiding you into an easeful pose. And with your inhale, the right leg and the left arm extend. Maybe you're bringing that left arm back to the earth. Maybe today it feels right for you to extend the right leg and not the left arm. What feels right for you? You get to make choices for your body so the breath stays smooth, so the pose is easeful. One breath leading to the next. The core is supporting the back body as the front body hugs up without rounding the spine, without taking out the natural curves. The heel reaches towards the wall and back of you to extend out of the hip so that maybe there's some space to lift that heel, that leg a little closer to the ceiling, a little deeper. The arm is soft in the shoulder socket, but extends through the fingertips And then maybe you have space to lift the thumb a little closer to the ceiling or draw the arm a little closer to your ear, honoring your body wherever it is today. How's the breath? With your exhale, maybe the elbow and the knee come together. With your inhale, you're slowly moving into extension. With your exhale, the belly hugs in and up. With your inhale, we lengthen. One more time like this, or backing out of it. And then settling onto all fours, and then bringing the hips over the knees and the shoulders over the hips, or sitting on the heels and rolling through the shoulders. Big circles. And inhaling the shoulders to the ears, and exhale, let them fall. Inhaling up, exhale, sliding down the back. And then we take a loop, we shrug them up, we slide them together, aware of that opening across the collarbone as we soften them down the waist. And then aware of the front ribs, maybe drawing them or hugging them in a little so that we can inhale, lift the ribs out of the hips, finding a little length. Nice. With your exhale, the pit of the belly gathers and we hinge forward from those hip creases and coming back into your tabletop. Setting up the foundation, aware of how you're being in the pose. What is the self-talk? Can you let that go and find the breath? And when you're ready with your inhale, the left leg and the right arm extend. And then you use the exhale to soften into that pose, to find its deepest expression right now in this moment. And it could change with the next breath as you find space to move a little deeper or honor your body, always meeting your body wherever it is, to soften away from something that doesn't feel right. We're gazing to the earth, soft back of the neck and jaw, one straight line from the crown of the head to the tip of the tailbone, with all the natural curves. With your exhale, elbow and knee maybe come in the direction of the center of the body, and inhale, we release and extend. Exhale, they might never meet. The goal is not to meet the knee and the elbow, but just to become aware of the muscles that bring you into the pose and find an easeful way to move in and out with the stability of your foundation and the core and the breath that guides you. Aware of any gripping or tension, knowing that you can stay in stillness and use the breath to soften the body. And the next time you inhale, find stillness there, and exhale, float it down. Maybe walking the knees the width of the mat and letting the big toes touch, reaching the hip creases in the direction of the heels, and then inhaling there, extending the heart away from the belly, and then allowing the body to bow down to the earth, to meet the earth. Third eye making contact with something, back of the hands, blanket, pillow, the earth. And then softening there with the exhales. And if something doesn't feel right, move it around until it does. Move the body. Find the space and the release that you need. Allowing the breath to move into the back body, to fill the back of the lungs, to allow the muscles between the ribs to soften, to create space, to hold space for the breath. And with your inhale, coming back up onto all fours, into your tabletop, setting up your foundation, palms of hands or forearms, being kind to your shoulders, your wrists, and finding what works for you. Either way, the pads of the fingers root to the earth. Strong and gentle so that the arms are active, but the elbows don't lock. So that you are aware of the muscles around the shoulder girdle that keep you safe. Finding the breath. Only I could remember where I was going with this. Letting the belly support the back body. With your inhale, the left leg reaches back, curling the toes under. Keep the shoulders right where they are, but extend into that heel. Maybe rocking forward and back on the toes to reach into the back of the calf, maybe the bottom of the foot. Where do you feel this? Keeping the foundation through the forearms or the palms of the hands so that you're not efforting into the shoulders, and then finding stillness there, reaching into that heel. Inhale, that leg lifts straight out, and then we're bending the knee so that as if we were planting the sole of the foot on the ceiling. And maybe this is where you'll stay, still rooting to the earth. 3 times, maybe we reach that heel a little higher and then soften to neutral. Small movement as you pulse up the heel, the sole of the foot to the ceiling, aware of the hamstrings, the glutes, maybe even into the back body. The front ribs hug up, and then with your next exhale, lower that knee down. I remembered where I was going. Bring the right hip to the right shoulder. The shoulders stay right where they are. We're wagging our tail, contracting the side body. On Monday, we used the side body muscles to bring the hips off the floor. Can you isolate the side body? And then breathe into the left side body as you draw the right hip to the right shoulder. Without rocking to one side or the other, keeping the gaze to the earth, and then finding a neutral spine. And extending, inhaling into that right leg, curling the toes under, reaching into the heel. Recommitting to that foundation to keep the muscles that wrap around the shoulders engaged, to keep you safe so that you're not dropping the heart to the earth. Inhaling and exhaling, maybe rocking forward and back on the toes. And noticing, does this side feel a little different? Do I need to change what I'm doing to make a different choice? And then finding stillness there. Finding that foundation, finding the breath, and inhaling, that leg extends straight up and out of the hip. And then we bend the knee. And as if you could plant the sole of the foot on the ceiling, we inhale and exhale with a small movement. Not collapsing the front body to the earth. Aware of hugging the front ribs up a little so that you don't compress the lower back. Keeping the integrity of the pose last time. Exhaling, that knee floats down to the earth, and you find your expression of child pose. Maybe you take some movement on the way down, and you're aware of the breath that guides you. Using the breath to move into the pose. There's a journey between the inhale and the exhale. The breath moves the body. We use it to guide us. Once we settle into stillness, we become aware of the thoughts, and we honor them. And just for now, we allow the breath to guide us and the thoughts to float away. With the intention of bringing the mind, the body, and spirit into balance. To have a clearer vision of the path. What is the next step is that we'd like to take? Who are we becoming in our practice? Exhale there. Inhale up onto all fours. I take it back. Let's float all the way down to the belly. So maybe you have to remove the prop onto your knees so that you can rest all the way onto the earth. With the elbows underneath the shoulders and the forearms parallel to each other. Shoulder blades slide together. And as we root into the forearms, we find the heart can lift. As we inhale, the sternum can extend a little away from the belly. And how are you being in the pose? Soften the gaze and the back of the neck. We can root the tops of the feet, all 10 toenails to the earth, and the legs can become active. A gentle cobra, right? Maybe this is the first back bend you've taken today, this morning. How are you being in the pose? Meet your body, find the breath. One more round of breath like this. Aware of the heart lifting. And with your exhale, slowly lowering yourself down to stack your hands to find the forehead resting in crocodile. Once you're there, use the breath to guide you, to allow the muscles in the legs to release. Maybe as you're softening the muscles in the legs, you're aware of the heels that open away from each other. You're not doing anything, just gravity, drawing those heavy muscles of the thighs to the earth. And just in this release, we soften the lower back. And we allow the breath to move into that space we've created. We can soften the shoulders. We find the breath, one following the next. Just a gentle pause between the two. One more back bend, and you can come into the same cobra pose. You can bring your chin or forehead to your mat and extend the arms alongside your body, the palms facing the hips. And with your inhale, the shoulders lift from the earth and the shoulder blades slide to the center of the back. Maybe this is where you'll stay. Keeping the gaze to the floor, maybe with your next inhale, The heart lengthens away from the belly button, and you find yourself in a gentle back bend, rooting all 10 toes to the earth. The legs are active, the knees lift slightly. No efforting. Inhale, grow a little longer. Exhale, soften down to the earth, maybe turning your head to one cheek. Finding the breath. And then coming back to your chin or your forehead. Maybe coming up onto forearms for Sphinx pose again, Cobra pose. Gentle. Maybe you walk the hands underneath the shoulders, keeping the gaze to the floor, drawing the shoulders away from the earth to the center of the back, sliding them away from the ears, and then finding that foundation through the palms of the hands. Nothing moves yet, but you set up the foundation, all 10 toes rooting to the earth. Inhale, lengthen the heart away from the belly button, finding yourself in a back bend, an easy, accessible back bend, gazing to the earth, one straight line in the back of the neck. Nice, beautiful. Big inhale, exhale, soften down, turn your head to the opposite cheek. Soften, release. Find the rhythm of your breath. Nice. Walking the hands under the shoulders, exhale there, inhale yourself onto all fours. We curl the toes under. We walk the hands forward, one hand print, maybe. And then as if you could slide the top of the mat away from you, we extend through the arms as the hip creases slide back. And maybe this is where you're staying, arms in the shoulder sockets, rooting to the earth through the pads of the fingers and the joints at the base of the fingers. Breathing into one long spine. Maybe with your exhale, the belly gathers, the knees lift, and we straighten one leg and the other, reaching the hips up to where the wall meets the ceiling, coming into your downward facing dog, and then work your dog. Walk it out. See what you see. Notice what you brought to your practice today. Using the breath linked to the body to soften. Maybe you'd like to come into stillness in this expression of puppy dog or downward dog. Allowing the breath to fill the back body, softening through the shoulders, finding that place of ease and strength. And then we gaze forward between the thumbs, bend into the knees if you're in downward dog, step one foot forward. If you're in puppy dog, we straighten the opposite leg and step it forward. And we inhale into half forward fold. Always moving slowly, mindfully with intention. Each step, each movement linked to breath. Moving on purpose. Finding the foundation through the soles of the feet. Sliding shoulder blades to the center of the back and away from the ears. And we root into the earth, strong legs. With your inhale, we hinge up and extend through the fingertips. Soften the arms into their sockets. Root into the legs. Exhaling over to the right. Inhaling to center. Exhaling left. Maybe you're softening the arms so they're not extended. Maybe there in back of the head, elbows out. What works for you? To remind you to find ease in the movement linked to breath. And then finding stillness the next time you exhale over to the left. Commit to the right heel, the right sole of the foot. Inhale, lengthen through the body. Exhale, maybe you have space to move a little deeper. Maybe not. Shoulders are stacked, heart faces forward. With your next breath in, all the way up to stand. And exhale over to the other side, committing to that left foot. Allowing the breath to fill the left side body. Heart faces forward, shoulders are stacked. Jaws soft. And with your next inhale, coming all the way up and floating those arms down and rolling through the shoulders, big circles. And then softening them down the back and finding your Tadasana at the top of your mat. Finding a gazing point and softening that gaze. Growing your roots into the earth. Rising through the crown of the head. Aware of the breath between the two. How are you being in the pose? What are you aware of? The breath that fills the space below the collarbone, your rhythm, and the rise and fall of the chest, and wise heart beating, and the energy in the palms of your hands. Bringing awareness to the palms of your hands and softening the fingers, allowing them to gently cup. Aware of the foundation, of the lengthening through the crown of the head on the inhale, of the gentle drawing in and up of the belly with the exhale. And with your next inhale, allowing the arms to float all the way up, keeping those soft fingers, and exhale, bring it to the heart center. And see if you could draw that energy around you through the length of the spine. Inhaling, the arms floating out, around, and up. Moving with your breath. Maybe you're moving faster or slower. Remember, I'm not practicing. I'm just giving you some cues to take or leave, to explore your practice of mind, body, and spirit. And honoring wherever you are today. And the next time you exhale, finding stillness there. Inhaling the arms up into goddess arms, softening there. Lengthening through the crown of the head. Exhale, find the foundation. Soften the knees, hinge forward, parallel to the earth. Stop when you feel a little tug in those hamstrings, the back of the thighs. Draw the arms, the back of the hand, the elbows, the shoulder blades to the center of the back. Arms up. And then soften there. Find sustainable breath that guides the pose. Gazing to the floor, no wrinkles in the back of the neck. With your next exhale, root into those strong legs and inhale, hinge up. Exhale, fold forward, parallel to the earth. Moving with your breath, keeping the integrity of the pose, activating the muscles you need to keep you safe and supported, letting go of gripping and tension. Maybe one more round of breath like this, moving with intention, aware of the breath. And then coming all the way up to stand. And reaching through those fingertips, straight arms. Exhaling, right arm under left, crossing the elbows, maybe giving yourself a hug. Inhaling, reaching through those fingertips again. Exhaling, reverse the cross, soften through the tops of the shoulders. Inhaling, reaching through those fingertips and coming back into goddess again. Walking the feet, coming to the long edge of the mat, walking the feet nice and wide. And then bringing your arms back into goddess again. And then pivoting the feet so they're at an angle to the corners of the mat. Nice. As you exhale, we're settling into goddess pose. Hips float straight down, knees bend and open away from each other. Inhale, slowly straightening the legs so you're aware of not locking them. Moving in and out of goddess, softening, moving with the breath. Not forcing anything. Maybe you walk the feet wider or at a different angle so the knees stay over the ankles and you don't feel any pain in the knees. And there's no efforting in the hips, the back, the jaw. The breath stays smooth. And maybe the next time you exhale into your goddess, you find stillness there. Drawing the shoulder blades together. Breathing into the front body, hugging the front ribs just a little to the back. Not tucking the tailbone, keeping the natural curve. Maybe with your next exhale, you have the space to settle the hips a little deeper. Strong legs, knees drawing to the room in back of you. With your inhale, coming all the way up to stand, floating those arms down, heel toe, walk the feet together, shake it out, let it go. Find your Tadasana. Exhale into those roots. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Just noticing. How are you being in the pose, in this familiar starting pose, starting of all the standing poses, mountain pose? Breath in, breath out. Allowing the weight to shift into the right leg, stepping the left toes a little closer to the ankle with the bent knee. As we prepare for tree pose, and so where do your thoughts go as soon as we say the pose? Do you need some support? Do you need to come off your mat to find a firmer foundation? Are you already moving into the pose before the body does? Find the foundation. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Maybe rotating that or left leg in the hip socket so the knee floats out to the side and you allow the heel to rest against the ankle. And you lengthen through the crown of the head, growing your roots, growing your tree. Finding that gazing point that will help to steady you. The outer thigh into the hip is active. The standing leg is active. The breath is smooth. Maybe you inhale the hands to the heart center. Can you find an easeful way to be in the pose? Can you use the breath to become aware of space to move deeper? Maybe inhaling the big toe off the floor. Exhaling, tapping it down. Maybe you're able to take a round of breath with the foot lifted. Maybe it roots to the ankle or the calf, finding a foundation, pressing foot against ankle or calf, calf against the foot, growing taller from there. Breath is smooth. Maybe you grow your branches. If you come out of the pose, just come back into it again. We get do-overs. Moving mindfully with intention, finding the breath. Inhale, that knee floats forward. Maybe the leg extends out in front of you. As you release it to the earth, shake it out, let it go. Land in your foundation. Reconnect with the breath. Aware of the self-talk. And we allow it to float away because this side's going to be a little different. And so we come into it like a beginner, starting all over again from the foundation in that standing leg as we allow the weight to shift over the left leg. And we come onto the toes of the right. We find that gazing point that helps to steady us. We root down and lengthen up and float that leg in the hip socket so the knee points out to the side, resting heel against ankle, toes on the floor. Maybe we find we have space to lift the toe with the inhale and tap it down with the exhale. Maybe we can press or root the foot against the ankle or the calf and find the strength in both legs to allow us to lengthen and balance here. And all our trees look different. Maybe you inhale and grow your branches. And we honor the body and the breath that guides us. And let go of the thoughts. Finding peace in the pose. Finding ease and balance, literally and figuratively. Being okay with wherever you are today. Maybe one more round of breath. And then you inhale that knee forward, maybe the leg extends, and we float it back down. And we step to the top of the mat. Find the feet, hips distance. Rooted to the earth, and inhale, the arms float out, around, and up. And exhale, we hinge forward. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, maybe we have space to hinge a little closer to the earth, but keeping a long, flat back. Shoulders away from the ears. Find the breath, root into the feet. Inhale, all the way up to stand. Exhale, bring it to the heart center. Inhaling, we lengthen. Exhaling, we fold to the earth. Inhaling, crown of the head extends. Exhaling, hip creases reach back. Maybe we straighten into the backs of the thighs with the intention of lengthening through the entire back body. So back of the legs, into the glutes, the lower back, the upper back, through the neck and the crown of the head. We see the path ahead of hinging from the hips, folding towards the earth. Maybe we even have space to allow the crown of the head to reach towards the earth. Your body, your practice, what is right for your back? How are you being in the pose? How's the breath? Maybe the knees are deeply bent and the belly rests against the thighs, and then you drape over the thighs to allow the crown of the head to float towards the earth, but only you know what's right for you.
One more round of breath here in your expression of forward fold. Root into the feet, inhale halfway. Exhale, find that foundation again, and inhale, come all the way up to stand. Exhale, heart center. 2 rounds of breath with the thumbs at the heart center, the palms touching. Finding the breath, making the inhales the same length as the exhales. And with your next inhale, the arms float out, around, and up. And with your exhale, we bow forward, hinging at the hips, bending at the knees, until the hands can come all the way down to the earth. Then we bend one knee and then the other. Maybe taking a couple of cat and cows here, or wagging the tail, or circling the hips. And then floating into child pose, your expression, knees together, draped over the thighs, or knees wide and folding between the thighs. Enjoying the journey and the breath that guides you to keep a long front body, to melt the heart. And find the breath again. And smooth it out. And soften the edges. Allow the shoulders to drape. Exhale there. Inhale yourself all the way up to sit onto the heels, so you can let the hips come to one side. So the legs can extend out in front of you, so that you can walk the hands in back of you for support, and then draw the shoulders together and open up across the collarbones, walking the feet the width of the mat and flexing them so you're on the heels. So you can take that windshield wiper again, keeping the shoulders relatively still, the upper half of the body facing forward, and allowing for a gentle twist from the waist down, so that the hips lift as the knees float over. And you find a lengthening through that side body. And gravity allows the knees to come a little closer to the earth, but you're keeping the integrity of the pose, keeping the chest lifted, the arms strong without locking the elbows. And then finding stillness and walking the feet back to hips distance. One hand and then the other comes to the back of the thighs, and you're at the top of your mat. So you find the head resting on your mat when we float down. Inhale, lengthening, using the back of the thighs as a foundation to draw yourself taller. Shoulders slide away from the ears, together on the back. As if you could lift the sternum to where the wall meets the ceiling, soften the chin to the notch in the collarbone, long side body, long back body, open front body. Maybe you exhale and come to the top of the sacrum. You just hinged open at the hips. You kept the long front body, long through the crown of the head, heart lifting, and now the core muscles are working a little more. How's the breath? Keep reaching the sternum away from the belly button, backing out of anything that compromises the breath that you feel efforting, maybe opening up the palms. One round of breath here. Maybe with the exhale, you carve out the belly and roll yourself down. Maybe you come to your elbow and onto your side and roll onto the back body. And find yourself resting in the support of the earth. And you find the breath. You smooth it out. And you move the body around. You release and allow the spine to lengthen with all its natural curves. And with your next exhale, drawing one knee and then the other in for a hug and maybe rocking from side to side. And then floating the feet to the earth, walking the heels a little closer to the sitting bones so that the feet are hips distance and in alignment. Knees over ankles. Shoulder blades tuck a little closer together. The head stays resting on the earth. Maybe the chin tucks a little towards the notch in the collarbone. Soften there. Maybe you're resting here in stillness, aware of the breath and the rhythm of the body. Maybe with your inhale, the arms extend overhead. Exhaling, rooting into the soles of the feet, and inhaling, lifting the hips. Exhaling, arms float to either side of the hips, hips lower. Inhaling, arms extend, hips lift. Maybe resting in stillness. What feels right for you? Maybe only moving through rolling bridge with the thoracic body, through the thoracic body. Maybe the arms rest at your sides. The next time you exhale, lower to the earth and find rest there. Big inhale fills the front and back of the heart space. Exhale, one knee and then the other draws in for a hug. And maybe you'd like to take legs up the wall. Maybe you're using a prop under the hips. Maybe your hands tuck under, maybe a pillow. But you're moving slowly with intention, setting yourself up with a strong foundation or not. You're choosing what would be the best thing for your body right now to bring you deeper to linking mind, body, and breath. One final pose of peace. Maybe it's something I haven't suggested at all, but something you need to do. 3 more rounds of breath here. Your breath, your natural rhythm, no control. If you're doing another pose or taking another pose, make sure you do it on both sides. Don't rush. When you're ready, you're floating the feet back to the earth if you've extended the legs. With your next exhale, the knees draw in for a hug. And then you take a final spinal twist, knowing that there are many ways to come into a twist. What is your most easeful way right now, today, at this moment, for the side that you're coming into? Can you soften through the shoulders so the shoulder blades rest under the heart space? Maybe extending the arms out in T. Allowing the breath to move into that side body, to soften you. Maybe gazing to the fingertips opposite the knees, if you haven't already. If that's accessible for you. And with your inhale, gazing up to the ceiling, the legs float back up, the knees, and then over to the opposite side. Maybe this side's a little different and you prop or move it around to make it more accessible, more easeful. Allow the breath move peacefully in and out. Easing to the fingertips opposite the knees if you haven't already. With your inhale, the gaze comes up towards the ceiling and the knees float up, and we take any final movement to complete the practice. And then settle into Shavasana. Whatever that means for you, to make the body comfortable resting on the earth. Choosing to come into stillness. Choosing to focus on the breath. Aware of the breath moving, the rhythm in your body. Aware of the wise heart, the earth that supports you, the vast sky above you, and the wise heart that guides you. With each exhale, softening, letting go. Maybe you're aware of a sensation of the bones floating in the body as all the muscles soften and release. Space between the eyes softens. The eyes rest heavy into the back of the head. The forehead melts towards the earth. All the muscles surrounding the jaw soften. Releasing the tongue, allowing the lips to softly meet. All the muscles in the face melting towards the earth, allowing the body to become heavy. Breathing in and breathing out, using the breath as an anchor, drawing us back out of the thoughts. Just for now, resting in this peaceful place. Guiding the breath in through the nose. Right there, as the breath leaves out through the nose. Just bringing a couple more things to meditate on or not. Allowing the focus to be on the breath. Always talking about the present moment, about this moment. And I was reminded this morning that the thing about the past is it's not actually the past. The past is in the present moment. Our history is here with us. That our lives are a conversation between the past, the present, and the future. And then we choose the path. Not denying the past, not gripping to the future, but aware of the two, finding the balance.
and the awareness that we want to bring into the step. The first step in deepening the conversation with ourselves, the conversation with others, is to stop having the one you're having now. That conversation you've been having maybe isn't working for you. Maybe it's time for a different conversation. Aware of the past, without clinging to the future. How do we want to be in this moment? We can choose to check in with the wise heart to find the joy. And when we fall, to fall in the direction of the path ahead of us. Who am I practicing at becoming? Taking a look at the conversations and how I am being. Paying attention on purpose, in the present moment, without judgment, using wise effort. Moving from thinking to feeling to knowing. One breath following the next. Aware of the wise heart. Coming from a place of love, kindness, and compassion for ourselves. Moving on our path. With each step, bringing that compassion, the awareness, the kindness with us. One breath at a time. Slowly becoming aware of your body resting on the earth. Becoming aware of the space surrounding you. Gently deepening your inhales and exhales. And slowly bringing your body back from stillness with small, gentle movements. Softly rubbing your thumbs against your fingertips, wiggling your toes. Maybe slowly turning your head from side to side. And with a deep awakening inhale, extending through the fingertips. And exhaling, floating the arms to a comfortable position. As you bend one knee and then the other to step the feet softly onto the earth. Feeling more awake and alert with every inhale. Scanning your body with your breath and just noticing what has your practice given to you today. What will you take with you off your mat and into your life? Maybe it's the intention that you started with. Maybe it's a new intention. Just repeat that intention softly to yourself one more time. Using your arm as a pillow, rolling over to one side or the other. Allowing the breath to fill the front and back of the heart space. Using your hands to press into the earth, resisting the urge to open your eyes. Draw yourself up into a comfortable, easy, seated position. With your inhale, you allow the arms to extend one more time. And with your exhale, we float the palms together to meet at the heart center. Aware of how the palms meet. With the goal of yoga to meet life the way the palms of the hands meet. And we lift our hearts and we bow our heads. The understanding that our practice needs to be continuous. Of the need to bring yoga into each and every breath and step. Our hearts need to be steady. May our practice be continuous. May our hearts be steady. May our efforts be of benefit to all beings. May all beings be safe. May all beings be happy. May they be healthy. May they find their freedom. May they know peace. And may they walk through the world with ease. Namaste. Thank you for sharing your practice with me.
Let's see if I can stop the record.